Evening, Ian. Evening. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the finale of Season 9 of Finish Line Racing. Oh, I forgot to mute that up. I'm so smart. Anyway, we are here at Austria Reverse for this finale. Only 14 people because there is some important football match going on. I don't know. I don't follow football. So I won't tell you what it is exactly, but something's going on, and that has caused us to have 14 people only. Which is one more than the requirement I said would need to be here for me to do comms. So, or rather, it is exactly what I wanted for me to do comms, so I am doing comms. In terms of the championship, in quite odd fashion, actually, the constructors is the more exciting one for tonight, because in terms of the drivers, we have Engine leading Tongo Prof by 29 points, and maximum you can gain on someone in a race is 30, and that's not the maximum you can score. That's the maximum you can gain, because here in FLR, if you are new, and we have some people who are new, we got Matthew making his debut today, and Shevers as well. If you are new to us here at FLR, we do deduct 5 points for every pit and quit from both the constructors and the driver tallies. As you can see, quite some dust hanging in the air there. So if Engine pits and quits and Tom wins, that's the only way Tom can win the championship, and that's a very, very improbable scenario. I don't think Engine has ever actually pit and quit in his... this is now his 4th season with us here in FLR, and Engine has never pit and quit, so this is the most simple championship scenario you will ever see, not just in FLR, but in any league ever, anywhere. But, you know, it's not over until it's over, even though it basically is. But you know what I mean. And we have contact between an Alpine and that's gonna be Norman Wu making contact with Matthew. I think Matthew just slowed down too much, and Norman just wasn't expecting that and made some contact with his tire. That looked quite odd. The 3rd and 4th drivers into championship, actually everyone from 3rd down to 5th position in the drivers championship is not racing here with us tonight. Josh has the opportunity to jump up into the top 5 in drivers, which I think would be his best result, his best result in FLR. And in terms of the constructors, this is where actually the main interest should be. We got Kick Sauber leading McLaren by 24 points in terms of that. So of course, with there being 2 cars from each team, and with both drivers of both teams actually turning up tonight, there are way more scenarios that the constructors can pan out compared to the drivers. So I won't list them because it would take me the rest of qualifying to list them, but I'm gonna keep an eye on the constructors throughout the race. Racing Bulls would also mathematically be in contention. They are 10 points back off of McLaren, but Rapid is not here tonight, so that chance is gone. You see Ian driving behind Matthew, who it's not gonna be counted as Alex was, I think, lagging extremely. Yeah, I think that's lag. I thought that he maybe lost the car on the approach to turn 3, but that's definitely lag. Hopefully he isn't too jerky when being around other drivers later on. And that's the kind of worrying lag that I'm actually quite familiar with. I mean, I've seen Nimra have this kind of lag in a few races this season, and I think he actually has it right there as he exited that corner, right as I was saying. And Panda, who has just put in a time, he used to have that lag a lot in the past, but he got a better connection, and since then it's I haven't really seen that with him since. Chichi on top and hoping to end his season on a high. I'm just looking up his statistics. Chichi has stand up to every race except China this season. and he has finished every race as well, with his best finish being P6 2 weeks ago in Australia. He's currently sitting 8th in the standings, and 2 points ahead of him is Ian. So those two are going to be fighting for P7 in the standings, maybe P6, maybe even P5 if they get really good results, because of course everyone from P3 to P5 is not here tonight. Speaking of Ian, he's on a lap and he's getting impeded again. I'll once again check if there was a real impediment. And that's Norman Wu, and Norman Wu, I think, was on a flying lap, so that is very, very unlucky start to the evening for Ian, who has been impeded now by 2 cars, and they can't be penalized for it because they were both on hot laps when it happened. So that is quite the bad luck that Ian is dealing with currently. He's still in P3 though for the time being. But the heavy hitters have not put in times yet. Or rather have not put times in yet. And Tom is getting impeded as well. I mean, Norman Wu not only goes off track to first get out of the way, but he comes back onto the track and just impedes Tom just that much more on the exit of turn 3. By the way, if you haven't figured out by now, I'm just gonna call corners by their actual corner names, numbers that is, because I'm not gonna be able to rewire my head to talk about the corners in the order that they would be while being reversed. Because this track, well, in my opinion, this track is just an abomination. Like Zandvoort and Silverstone reverse, I can live with. Like, tracks are not meant to be really reversed, but I can live with that. But this is just an abomination. Like, they could have reversed anything. They could have reversed Brazil, they could have reversed Spa, they could have reversed China, but instead they decided to go for this abomination for some reason. You can see that corner that Tom just went through there. Very, very weird corner. You have to take like the weirdest line ever to not lock up, and then this is probably the worst corner on the entire game right now. I mean, just look at that, it's disgusting. That corner is not meant to be taken in that direction. Anyway, in terms of interesting stats, which I have to say because I am the stats man, this abomination is actually what we welcomed F125 with, because that would be back 10 months ago now. We had our first social race on this very version of the track. So we've kind of come full circle since then. Unfortunately, the circle is going to be continuing on for another round because we have no game being released this year. Of course, we're going to have the DLC, and even that, we still don't know when it's going to come out. And that's why we've planned our team showdown, which is a competition where drivers will be divided into 5 teams of 4. So there's going to be 4 champions of that series, because it's going to be a team competition, not everyone for themselves kind of competition. It's going to take place over 7 rounds, provisionally. It's going to run from April 22nd to June 3rd, which some rumors indicate Rusty invalidates his lap there. Some rumors indicate that the DLC is coming out on the 3rd or the 4th of June, maybe. But again, that's just rumors. And in the meantime, we'll be doing the team showdown, which, which you're not gonna hear me anymore for that, because I don't know how exactly his name is pronounced, but a guy called Delano is gonna be taking over from me. He's already substituted for me 2 weeks ago in Australia, and he is quite good at comms from what I heard, so he'll be taking care of you during your rewatches for the Team Showdown series, while I will be back on the track. We are watching Rusty just taking his lap of shame, really. He's been invalid from the beginning, essentially. Panda now coming up for a lap. And we haven't actually seen Engine do anything yet. And Engine is going to abandon this lap, actually. I think that's quite a bold choice, considering that he lives in the middle of a jungle. Well, actually, I don't know that, but he can disconnect at any moment, essentially. He has abandoned that lap and come in. And actually, Tom Eads, who is also going to be contending for victory, he has not put in a time yet either. Just going to look up Tom Eads' stats. So Tom Eads, as a reserved, he's turned up to about half the races this season. And he's picked up 2 wins so far in the season opener at Spain and 2 weeks ago in Australia, where he won both the sprint and the feature. So we'll see if Tom Eads will be able to make it 3 wins for the season tonight. That would actually be the second most for the season, only behind another reserve, Who Am I, who withdrew today at the last minute. And these 2 guys have been kind of just beating the full-time drivers. Engine and Tom only have 1 feature race win apiece. And then Rapid, who is not here tonight, also 1 win for him, the only other full-time driver to win a race. And that's also part of why we changed the rules for the team showdown. And everyone, regardless of pace, is going to be allowed to be a full-time driver. So we're going to have quite the stacked grid. It's going to include, it's going to be Ransdale is going to be there. Who Am I is going to be there. Tommy, I believe, is going to be there. Tom Go Prof. I think Rapid's going to sign up for it as well. I don't know if I'm missing anyone fast. Oh, and Engine, of course, he's gonna be back. He's probably gonna be the reigning champion unless something extremely improbable happens. He's probably gonna be the reigning FLR champion for that series. It looked like there was a plum of steam coming up from the rear wing of Tom's McLaren, which is an interesting visual glitch. I think it's meant to represent the air moving around the rear wing, but I just can't help it. It just looks like steam rising up from the car to my eyes. You can see it there. I think it's just simulating the airflow around that rear wing. So Togoprov, I think is going to improve this time because he got impeded on his previous one. Keeps it within track limits nicely, actually not attacking that final corner too much even. And it's going to go actually not to the top. He improves nearly a whole 4 tenths of improvement, but he's going to fall 17,000 short. And you know, it's beginning to look to me like Gigi has actually turned up for tonight. He's not at the top just because we are missing a few fast drivers. He is genuinely on top on pace right now, which I think Tom Eads and Engine have set off to change. Tom Eads is ahead of Engine out on track. This could be his only and final lap of the session, but again, Austria, very short track, so I think he'll be able to come out for another flyer, taking that exit very nicely indeed. Hard on the brakes for 10-3, second gear, gets the car rotated nicely, a little bit hesitant on the exit, but a short shift to third gear should help with the traction, and indeed it did. Purple in the middle sector as well for Tom Eads. Now he just needs to send it to this final corner. He's going to abandon the lap actually. So just like Engine did with his bunker as well. And Engine is going to do actually the same. I don't know how, do they have some kind of agreement to do a last to first challenge today? Because it just seems that way right now. Like the lap is short and you get 3 sets of softs, but even still, these guys deciding not to even put in a bunker time. They're either gonna start from the back, or they're gonna leave it all for the last lap. Actually, apart from Chichi, also a shout out goes to Rusty, who again is currently ahead of people who are ahead of him in the driver standings. So he's punching above his weight right now, and looks like it could be pace-wise, this could be his best weekend since... Actually, Rusty has had a few weekends where he was way up in the upper midfield this season. I can only, off the top of my head, really remember Las Vegas, but I'm sure he had a couple more, I just can't put the chucks currently in my head. And he's on an odd lap right now, so we're gonna stay with the Haas driver. Out of the last corner, let's see what he does on this lap. Battery in hot lap. As he heads down, he's gonna take a wide exit into 10-10. Wide entry, I meant to say, but a wide exit also. Both apply to that corner. Now coming down through 10-8. And now into 10-7. Clipping that curb and having to recorrect the car just a little bit, and that's cost him his attempt down as he heads down through 10-7. 10-6, sorry. Now to the king of 10-5, which is very, very weird on this layout. Down into third gear, through 10-4, having to ease the car just a little bit to not lose grip on that exit. Now into 10-3, and he misses the apex completely. I don't think he even touched the inside curb, and wow, he's almost 2 tenths down, and he's gonna abandon this lap. And I won't blame anyone for this entire race for missing the apex of 10-3, because that corner, again, it shouldn't exist. It shouldn't be taken in that direction. That is just a crime against racing, that corner. We're currently on board with Matthew, who is reserving currently for whoever is in the Haas, usually. I think Reza was in the Haas. Reza was in the Haas until, of course, he rage quit last week because he didn't like a steward's decision, and then he didn't like the fact that I upheld the steward's decision, because the stewards made a good decision according to the rules, which is like the whole job of the stewards, and that was unacceptable for him for some reason. Yeah, that sounds very, very weird when I said that out loud, and it was very, very weird. But then again, we do not want drivers who don't have respect for our rules, you know. The rules are the same for everyone. As Rossi has retired, I think he's used up all his tires, so I don't think he could have gone for another one. Chevers has also retired, so P10 is gonna be the best that he will be able to do for himself. Welsh Benjamin Thomas 10-8 in the Red Bull. Coming up into 8th gear, there is a Visa, I think, not as a Haas. There's a Visa getting out of the way. A Haas getting out of the way. Over 2 tenths up for Welsh Benjamin through sector 1. Now approaching 10-4, chucking the car, just having to... You can see in the bottom of your screen how much he had to modulate the throttle on that exit. That exit is very, very difficult to do. Not as much though as the one that he is approaching right now. 10-3, let's see if he will be able to hit the apex. No, just like Rusty, he is not able to do that, but he keeps up a little bit more momentum than the Haas driver did before. He has lost some time though. He's only a tenth and a half up now. I think it's going to be the final run of the session. Tom is indeed doing a last to first challenge, so he's just having some fun at the end of the season. Welsh Benjamin through the final corner is going to use all the battery. The battery is going to be nearly fully depleted. It's actually completely depleted as it comes across the line. It's going to be 167 of improvement. And he is in P3. And qualifying is now over. Engine and Tom Eat are both going to do a last to first challenge. But let's see if Tom can do anything about Chichi. Actually, where is Chichi? Chichi is behind him on track. So Tom, this is his chance to knock Chichi off the pedestal. Chichi is gunning for his first pole position in FLR. Tongo Prof, the two-time champion, losing his rear end just slightly as he comes through the last corner. And actually he's not gonna improve. Chichi is gonna be on pole position for the Austrian Grand Prix here in FLR Season 9. That should be a massive confidence boost for the Visa driver, who's gonna improve this time even further. He's gonna come across the line. It's gonna be he's actually done the exact same lap time. He's done the exact same lap time. It's a 1:04.750 twice for Chichi. And he takes pole position at the reversed Red Bull ring. He will lead the two McLarens to the grid. And I stand by what I said moments ago. This should be a huge confidence boost ahead of the team showdown. You can say that Engine and Tom each, sure, they decided to do last to first challenges. A few people are not here, but he still had to go out there and beat Tom Goprov by 17,000s. And he did that twice. He did that twice, and you can see how much more time he had in his pocket with how he did his best sectors each on a different lap. So he had a bit more time to find, but he didn't need to find it. Also, shout out to Ian, who holds on for P4, and Josh in P3. I think those are the highest grid positions for those guys in quite some time as well. And we're now gonna move into the race, and I'm gonna use that time to grab a bottle of water, because I usually have one set up, but I forgot. Well, I'm back. Regarding strategy for tonight, I'm usually the first one to call shots about what strategies are gonna be used. As much as that happens, tonight I do not have a clue. Because I think this is the only track that from release, I actually bought the game 2 months after release, but that's beside the point. That's the only track where I have not done any running and race trim. I haven't done a social race, I haven't done a league race, I haven't done a career mode race, I haven't done even an open lobby on Austria Reverse, so I actually don't know what to tell you about the strategy. Because the tire allocation in terms of the actual Pirelli compounds is gonna be the same as for regular Austria, which is quite a soft allocation. And specifically it's C3 to C5 is the allocation. And the correct direction, Austria, is heavily biased towards a two-stopper. You can pull off a one-stop, but you not only need to get lucky with the tire, with like puncture RNG, the two-stoppers might as well catch you on pure pace. So, correct direction, Austria is heavily biased towards a two-stopper, but then again, it's not always, the tire wear doesn't always transfer the same to the reverse tracks, because for example, Zandvoort correct direction is incredibly taxing on the left side tires. You need to make 2 pit stops there, otherwise you get a puncture. But Zandvoort reverse, you can actually do a one stop. Still, you need to do some tire saving, but you can do a one stop and actually works, especially if there are safety cars. That helps. So I don't know if it's gonna be a one-to-one mirror image of the strategies from standard Austria. We're just gonna take some more time to look at the sunny Styria. And we are underway, Chichi leading the field for the first time in his FLR career, which Chichi joined, I believe, quite early into last season, so he's now, you could say, finishing his second full-time season with us. Looking to end it on a high. Of course, he's not going to be credited with an actual lap in the lead until he finishes lap 1 in the lead. But you know, he's fast right now. And let's have a look at the coveted tire choice for everyone. There you have it. It's quite an interesting choice. It seems like everyone is learning from Who Am I. You know, it's not a bad call in my opinion. I mean, if someone has a 100% win rate, you can sure learn a lot from them. Ian, Ben, Shevers and Tobit going against the grain. They're gonna start on the C4 mediums, and you could see the strategy prediction graphic going absolutely wild. A free stop in a league race. That's not gonna happen unless there are safety cars or damage involved. I can just tell you that right now. The advantage that the hard runners are gonna have is that they're gonna be able to put just that much more temperature into tires because they can whiff around without worrying about damaging them. But the medium starters are just gonna have better grip outright. However, they're gonna not have that much of the track to utilize that grip advantage, because you can see right now, I'm gonna disappear this so you can see it fully, how short the run to turn 1 is. It's almost like, I'm thinking what else has such a short run. I mean, I think only the other reverse tracks can actually compete with that short run to turn 1. And the lights are out almost immediately, though not as fast as in the real-life opener at Australia a few weeks ago. And Chichi is going to swoop into the lead ahead of Tom Goprov, and Norman is standing still on the grid. I think he just went away to the toilet or to have a smoke or for whatever, or he's just watching the whole match thing and he's just been disqualified. So, yeah, I don't know why he bothered to do the qualifying and that, but the Alpine is now out. And that completes Alpine's season from hell, where Alex is still out on track and he's actually a full-time driver for them. But, so you know, there is no recovering Alpine's season. They have just been completely smashed, beaten, kicked, and shattered this season. And Matthew has got a 10-second time penalty somehow. There is a huge calamity at turn 3. I think he overshot his braking point completely. He's got another 10 seconds and he's just quit on track and he's probably quitting the league. I don't know why I decided to go instead of racing, but I'm gonna have to live with my choices now. And he is retired on track by the looks of things. The absolute calamity for Haas and Ben. Unfortunately not getting any advantage from the medium start. Rusty has pit and quit, so that's the end of the season for Haas. And there are 11 drivers remaining on track. If this doesn't feel like a season finale, I don't know what does. Back to the action, we got Ian losing ground to the hard runners. So I think he's just had a few bad corners. There's Rusty's retiring car still going around the track. I think it's gonna get itself off before the leaders make it back around. Tom probably picking up a warning there. Chichi so far is keeping up the pace. His race pace doesn't look a step below his quali pace. So he's really turned up tonight. And Tom might be carrying a warning already. Ian just lurking behind. He's not too close, he's just chopping off a little bit. It's very hard to follow in the dirty air. Especially when the corners have such weird shapes. Nimra has picked up a 3-second time penalty. In the meantime, Ben is back in the pits again. He's quit as well. I don't know what I'm doing here. Because literally I just took... I just put an hour of my time. Because that's the commitment I make at the start of quali. Just to see this. 4 people out in 3 laps. And there are 10 drivers remaining out on track. We have a battle between Tom Eat and Panda. And Tom Eat is going to have the position claimed before they even reach the corner. Tom is going to fly past Chichi on the start finish straight. Tom Eat puts the fastest lap of the race in. It's going to be actually Tomko Prof and Chichi both doing nicely to avoid contact. And there you can see why we penalize pit and quits, because pit and quits are dangerous. And there is contact between Josh and Panda. Josh has broken off his front wing. There is even more carnage. There are 10 people left out on track. If everyone could just calm down, that would be fantastic. This is why I penalize pit and quits. Obviously, if the game was designed correctly, we would probably allow pit and quits, but one of the reasons we don't is because the retired cars come back out and they don't even ghost or anything. They just stand in the way because the AI in this game is suboptimal. Yeah, I didn't catch that directly, but I about made it out. But yeah, that is... I hope no one is too angry about that, because it was just your first race, and you know, anything can happen. Everyone is allowed mistakes, especially in their first race, so I hope there is no bad blood coming because of that. And it's gonna be another season underway in 2 weeks, so maybe some redemption there. Anyway, we're continuing to be on board with Ian. Josh has lost some ground because of that wing damage that he got from the whole bunch up from Ben's disconnected car, retiring car, that is. And Tom Eat is in the lead already. He has gone from last to first, and he's only needed 4.5 laps. 4 laps in one sector, something like that, and he's on the lead. He's in the lead on the mediums. So the two Toms currently running 1 and 2, and Tom is very confident with the line. He's taking around that corner. He's pushing the track limits on every corner, from what I can see, but he's losing the car a little bit, and he just went outside the white line, and he's gonna ghost. He's gonna ghost at the opportune moment, and that is just luck. That was not actually him losing control. That was just luck. And there's been an incident involving Panda, who is slow, coming out of 10.9, but he's back up to speed now. And Chichi is off. He's off to explore the gravel. He's got his tires a bit dirty, but I don't think he was out of control long enough to really overheat them, so I think he's gonna be fine. Although in the short term he's not gonna be fine, because he's gonna be under attack from Panda, who's opened his rear wing. I think that's a DRS straight, yeah. And there is even more lag going on, so yeah. Yeah, again, I didn't see that, so I can't quite say if I can't quite say if I understand him or not, but yeah, I would imagine he would be. So we got 10 drivers remaining on track, and 3 of them, at least from what I've seen so far, that have been Nimra, Alex and Tom Eat. 3 of them are having some lagging issues. So hopefully there's not gonna be any more contact. Hopefully there's not gonna be any more retirements. As Tomko Prof is really lighting up those rears on the exit of turn 4. And he's lost DRS to Tom Eat. And Engine has got ahead of his teammate. and he's going well ahead of his teammate. In fact, Ian is nearly losing DRS already. So, as we'll have a look, and Ian also losing the rear as well, we'll have a look at the position change. We've got Tommy up 13 and Engine up 10. Of course, they are fast drivers, but they have benefited from all the carnage that's been going on. I think they've just picked their way through the mayhem effectively. Yeah, I would imagine that's the case with 10-3, or what would be 10-3 in the correct direction. Because I've mentioned a few times during qualifying about how I think that 10-3 is 10-3 of reverse Osha is like the worst, the most difficult corner on the whole game. That corner was really not designed to be taken in this direction. Just very hard to make the apex there. Okay, so back to the tires and back to the gap because I accidentally switched that off. We got Tom GoPro keeping the gap to Tommy about the same as it has been for the past 2 laps. So the only DRS chain that is currently out on track is from Josh down to Panda, and Chevers is about... Speaking of Chevers, as soon as I say his name, he's picked up 3 seconds for track limits. He is in the DRS range of Nimra, and I think he's actually attacking him right now as we speak. He's gonna go down the inside into 10-1, and he's gonna hit the wall. Or rather, brush the wall. I don't think it was quite a hit. He's gonna take out a braking marker as well. Or DRS marker rather, which I don't really need. I don't think... I'm just gonna look over his car. But both of his end plates are still intact, but he's gonna hit the wall again in much the same fashion as he did a few corners ago. And both his end plates still survive that, but he's gonna need to be avoiding those issues. He's just gone off again, so I think he's struggling with his setups. Actually, both Ferraris are struggling at the same time because Panda has just been off again. And Nimra picking up an illegal overtake or something, I would assume. Because he just let him back pass, and Panda is trundling around, I must say. I'm just trying to look at his end plates. Both of his end plates on the car still as well, just like for his teammates. So I don't know what's going on with these Ferraris. Chevers is making another attack on Nimrod down to 10-3. And Carnage at 10-3 has effectively claimed 4 drivers already. So I hope that Chevers and Nimra will both be rather careful around that corner. Nimra just having to correct the car slightly out of turn 1. And this trio is together now, effectively, leaving Alex and Josh. Speaking of Josh, he just picked up a 3-second time penalty, and I think I should stop. Good evening, Ben. I mean, it's nice to see that in game you are okay, but if you could just message quickly what happened, that would be helpful because I didn't really see any of it at all. I just saw you were in the pits for a really long time, and then I just saw your retired car coming back out on track, and I think it was Ian who had to take avoiding action. We have... And now Josh has hit the wall at the pit entry. He made some contact with Alex as they headed down the straight. It looked like quite a huge impact from the angle that I was seeing, and it was quite a huge impact because Josh doesn't have a front wing at all. He's gonna have now, and he's gonna pit and quit as well. Wow. You really know it's the end of the season when two different staff members are pitting and quitting. And I think that's about gonna seal the championship, the constructors for the Kicksauber. Yeah, I saw the part where the car came out, and you know the bad part is that there's nothing you could have done because you know there is the deduction for pit and quit, but it's not like it's outright disallowed. And as I said a few laps ago, if we had a correctly designed game, the cars would just disappear into thin air as soon as they enter the pits. I mean, in the case when you are retiring manually, they wouldn't just come out, so that's really annoying. In the meantime, we have pit stops happening as I was going on that round. We got Tom Goprof onto hards, we got Marshall onto hards, and we got Alex onto mediums. Nima has just picked up his second tempo T of the race. Yeah, I mean, I can definitely agree with that. The downhill brake, any downhill braking is already difficult enough in itself. And when you add the dirty air that this game has, I can really see how incidents have happened there. As Nimra goes rather wide, I don't think that was intentional. I think he's just struggling on his tires. So I think this is looking up to be a two-stop race. Tom is gonna fly up the inside of Panda. Just don't do anything stupid and turn free, guys. I've already seen enough things there. Or rather, to be technical, I didn't see the things there, but I heard about the things that happened there. But Panda was sensible about that one. Engineer picks up a 3-second tempo T, which is not something you see every day out of our champion to be. And you can now see Tom jumping away, and that is the difference between 12 lap old tires and 1 lap old tires. But the other Tom in the race, that being Tom Eat in the Red Bull, he has set a blistering pace. He has gapped Tom Goprof by 6.6 seconds as it stands. Sure, he pitted 1 lap earlier, so there was some undercut involved there, but you don't gain that much time from an undercut. It just looks like Tom Eat's pace is just superior to everyone else out on track right now. He's gonna be shortly coming up to our positor Chichi, or he's not gonna be doing that because Chichi peels off into the pits. And one thing about Tom Eat that's really impressing me right now as I sit on board with him, I'm actually gonna turn the telemetry on. I think that's just gonna add some more info to the race. What's impressing me about Tommy's driving right now is that he is easily the fastest car on track right now, but he doesn't appear to be sending it overly. It appears like he has the car underneath him, and it's just going exactly where he needs it to go. You can see how smooth he is with the inputs. Of course, fresh tires will be helping with that, but still. Having said that though, Tom Goprof has gained half a second on him while I was complimenting his driving. But Tom Goprof is also, right now, he's below 10% of battery, which is going to be losing engine power. And Tom Eat has more ERS to burn. Speaking of engine power, the engine is coming into the pits, so there's definitely going to be a two-stop race for everyone. It does appear that the tire wear is about equal to the one observed in standard Austria. Engine into the pits for the mediums, the Kicksauber comes in, and only one more pit stop separates him from championship glory. So far, there have been two people who have won multiple championships in FLR. Tom Goprof, who will probably lose the championship today. Tom Goprof was the first two-time champion in FLR. He won season 2 and season 4. Then the next two-time champion was me. I won season 5 and season 8. And Engine, who has so far won season 6, which was his first season with us in FLR, he's gonna go on to become the third two-time champion, most likely, and he's gonna claim season 9 for himself. Actually, when you say it like that, it doesn't sound like that much time. But between his championship in season 6 and the championship that he's gonna win probably today, Chevers has crashed out on track, and there's gonna be a full safety car actually, so that's gonna reset the grid just a little bit. It's been 11 months 11 real-life months since Engine won that Season 6 championship, so he's had to wait 3 seasons and 11 real-life months to get another championship. Or to even get a sniff at another championship, because it seems like Engine has not been enjoying F1 25 as much as F1 24. He was very, very rapid on that last game. So unfortunately, neither debutant is gonna see the checkered flag today, and we have seen almost half the grid retire. And you know, the thing is that if any of the people who pit and quit, because there's been 5 pit and quits, if any of the people who pit and quit actually stayed in the race, they would have got right back in it with the safety car. But then again, it's not a common thing to see a safety car in FLR. It seems to happen most often at reverse tracks, actually. I think the finale of last season, which was at reverse Zandvoort, that one had like 5 safety cars, starting with a huge pileup on the first lap as well. So I don't think the reverse tracks are a good omen for us as a league. I think we should just take a break from them. Tommy and Engine both stay out. Tongo Prof has opted to pull the trigger and make his second stop of the race. So has Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi is still driving down the pits in that Visa, so we'll see what tires he will be putting on. And that looks to be another set of mediums for the Visa. Alex is gonna move up to P4. Ian's gonna move up to P5. And Nimra is gonna be quite close with him in Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi is now gonna have the inside line for this corner. And Chi-Chi is just about to gonna make it back out onto the track then. And Panda is now making it to the pits. He is not taking any risk at that pit entry because there are no risks to be taken when you're lying last and pitting under a safety car. And well, we're under the safety car. I just took the moment to look through the Discord, and I'm happy to see that there's no bad blood because of that first lap incident. It's already been reported, and that's all that really needs to happen. Stewards will look at it in the next few days, and then we'll be all clean and ready to go into the next season. By the way, it's currently showing me that 5 people are watching, and I just want to take this moment to say that I really appreciate all of you, and also really appreciate everyone who's going to be rewatching this race afterwards, because I know it's not the most interesting thing to be looking at an 8 people race, a race that has been whittled down to 8 people before the halfway point out of an initial grid of 14, and I must say I was on the edge. I said to Ian a few minutes before the race that if there wasn't enough people, I was just gonna jump in a car and just race instead of doing comms. But ultimately I decided to do comms because there were 14 people and safety car is in this lap, and I think that's not quite fair on Panda because it's gonna have to catch up a lot of ground. I don't think he's gonna actually make it. So yeah, I was on the edge of whether I wanted to do comms or to drive, but you know, I committed at the beginning of the season. I put my reaction down. I said I'm gonna do comms for this season, and apart from 2 weeks that I missed because of uni commitments, I have been doing that, and I think even though the final race is not turning out quite as cleanly as we might have wanted, I think Engine still deserves to get his official championship crowning announcement kind of thing when he crosses the line. so that's what I'm setting out to do for him. Speaking of engine, he's quite wobbly on this restart, but he does have the tire age and compound advantage over Tommy, so he should be able to mount an attack here in the next few corners or on the next lap maybe. He's sticking quite close to Tommy, and there's a huge gap, there's a 3-second gap between the podium places. I obviously saw that there was some shuffling going on between Ian and Alex ahead of the restart. Not quite sure what that was about, but it's caused them both, and now Alex has lost another half a second while I was saying that sentence. Nimra picks up his third time penalty of the evening, and DRS is going to be enabled, at the start of this lap. Quite the lockup there from engine, and Tom I think is picking up another warning. I think he's on 2 warnings right now, and that's just from the excursions that I've seen from him. There's a yellow flag. I cannot quite make it out. I think it's just a phantom yellow. I think the yellow you can see on the left of the screen there, I think that's just a glitch from the safety cars. Engine goes very wide, Tom GoPro goes very wide, that is, not engine, and he spins. And he's got his tires coated in grass, and Alex is gonna go past, and Ian is gonna go past, and Chichi is gonna go past. Tom GoPro just went out too wide there at turn 8, or turn 7 rather. Just clipped gravel. He tried to hold on to the car, as you could see. As engine is going for the lead on Tom Eat. He's gonna make it into turn 3. That is the cleanest overtaking maneuver I've seen in turn 3 today. And I think Tom Eat is immediately gonna get DRS, and he's gonna immediately be able to respond. Tom Eat and engine side by side, and Tom Eat is gonna reclaim the lead, so that didn't last long for our champion in waiting. And now engine has DRS again. Unfortunately, this is too short of a straight to make an impact. You could see that he was having a look into turn 10, but he just couldn't get far enough at the inside. And he's remaining behind for the time being. Alex is lagging quite a bit. As I was watching through turn 9 and 8, that his gears were essentially blinking because of the lag issues. Chichi is trying to make a move. He's actually hit his left rear tire there. And now Tom GoPro is going to dive to the inside. It's going to make it 3 wide. And guys, you have to resolve this issue before you reach the braking zone for turn 3, because that is not going to end well. And Tom GoPro is sending it down the inside at turn 3. And I said that's not going to end well, and that didn't end well. Although they were both able to gather it back up nicely. You see, Ian has come through the incidents, and Ian is now sitting in P3. Alex has got a 10-second penalty for an illegal overtake, so obviously he didn't hand the place back when he should have. And now he's attacking Ian again into turn 1. And now Tom GoPro is going to get a double switchback. And Tom GoPro is going to make up 2 positions back. And that's immediately after the half spin that he had at turn 3 just moments later. Because see, Alex trying to retake another position, because Ian and Alex lost positions not only to Tom but also to Chichi at that one part of the track. But Alex has not been able to recover the positions thus far. And he just seems to be off the racing line at this point. I don't know what he is quite doing. It does appear that his end plates are still there in their places, and Nimra goes wide. Nimra goes wide, entering turn 3. And that is a bit early, because you usually go wide exiting that, not entering that. But he obviously got. I think his car got raced off the ground by that sausage car. Basically, I think that was the whole issue. Alex now comes into the pits, and unfortunately he's gonna lose a bit of ground on this pit stop. Granted that he does not pit and quit. I should just shut the fuck up. I should just shut the fuck up. And his car, for some reason, stops in the pits rather than make it back out like Ben's did. So make that make sense. You know, make that make sense. It's not very consistent, is it? I don't know why these people are retiring, but yeah, right there, that is the fitting end to Alpine's season. They're gonna end up with another 5 points deducted from this race. And that's been the story of the French Toast team, as I like to call them, through season 9. I don't know how their fortunes are gonna be, next season, but they're gonna be the same if they have the same drivers again. You are now looking at your champion in waiting still, but that's getting closer and closer to the crowning moment. He's just out on his own, just enjoying a leisurely drive on a Wednesday evening around the pretty mountains of Styria, the pretty Alps, which I can actually confirm because this is the only F1 track that I've ever been to in real life. So I can confirm that the scenery is very beautiful, even better than in the game here, as you can see from the T-Cam engine showing you how to take turn 3. And he just put another second on Chichi, so might be the end of the season, but he's still displaying that pace that has got him in this position that he's currently in. Tongo Pro fixed up a 3-second time penalty, and engine also showed a nice slide. I think just locked up the brakes on the rears, just a little bit on the approach to turn 1. Anyway, back to the action because we should probably be heading back there. We got a DRS train of Chichi, Ian and Tongo Prof. And Tongo Prof is just picking up another warning just for fun at this point. Just for the love of the game. And Ian is sticking close to Chichi, which is commendable considering the impact of dirty air in this section. They're coming up to the DRS zone on this back straight kind of portion. And Ian has opened DRS, but he's not using any of his battery. He's basically doing the Josh/Alex Hendrick strategy of hoarding battery that we've seen from those two drivers across the season. Not usually from Ian, but he is doing that strategy right now. He's gonna fly around Chichi, heading down into turn 1. They're gonna be side by side through turn 1. They're gonna leave space. Quite respectful racing there from both of these drivers, so I commend them both for that. And Chichi is gonna gain the position in the end. Tongo Prof is not gonna gain a position himself. Tommy has moved ahead of Nimra, so Tommy on his fresh tires, he's gonna be on those guys soon, and he's gonna be in the penalty tap soon because he's picked up his first 3-second time penalty of the race for being naughty with track limits. Ian once again doing the same approach with his ERS. I'm just looking at the green dot of engine and I wonder if he will be coming in again. I think he will because he's done 11 laps on that C4 mediums and he needs to do 10 more. I don't think that is possible even for someone of engine skill. As Ian and Chichi are going to go side by side again, but this time with roles reversed. This time they're going to be on different sides of the track. And this time, Tongo Prof is actually going to benefit and gain the position. And Tom Eade is also going to sneak in. So Ian losing positions to both Toms. And now Tom Eade is truly on the hunt for this win. Granted, engine is not in a bad position for the win either, because he's going to come out, when he makes his pit stop eventually, he's going to come out with quite a decent tire delta to Tom Eade. Tom Eade has been on his tires for 4.5 laps already at this point, and even with the hards, that's gonna be showing. That's gonna be palpable. I can't speak. You know what I wanted to say. even with the hards, a 4-lap tire difference is gonna be noticeable as Tongo Prof picks up his second time penalty of the race and Engine comes in. So indeed it's gonna be a 4-lap tire delta. I will see where Engine will come out. I suspect it will be somewhere behind his teammate. I think he will get just ahead of Panda and Nimra. Speaking of Panda and Nimra, Nimra has just pieced out of that battle to make his final stop of the race. And 9 laps remain in this season. Tommy takes the lead again, with Engine being in the pits, and Engine is gonna merge onto the track alongside his teammate, and Ian, ever the gentleman, he took fully off the track to make sure that he wasn't fighting his teammate unnecessarily. And Engine comes out in P4, he's currently behind his championship rival, his only remaining championship rival. Tom GoPro is gonna settle in behind him out of 10-4, and Tom is gonna be struggling with his rear. Chichi and Tom still have to cycle through their final stops of the race, and Tom GoPro is flashing, which means he's below 10% battery, he's losing engine power. Engine's gonna try to go around his outside into 10-3. It's gonna be a little bit of contact, just nothing major, so it's just a slight wheel-to-wheel touch. Chichi picks up a time penalty on a straight, so I think he was hugging that wide line just a little bit too tightly. And Tom GoPro is going to peel off into the pits, and Engine is going to be all over the back of Chichi. Chichi is not going to have any DRS help on this straight, and Engine should be able to fly past comfortably. Engine into P2, and 1 lap mediums against 6 lap hards to the end of the race. And we're going to have a quick look at the penalties. Where is the penalties? Tommy and Engine are equal on penalties. So it is all to play for, and Engine is gaining hand over fist. On Tommy, he's almost in his DRS already. Now I would start getting a little bit worried if I was Tom Eat, because Engine is gonna be in his DRS, he's gonna be able to recharge his battery within a lap or so, and he's gonna be fully committed to this attack for the lead. But now is yet another plot twist in this race. Now Tom Eat gets an extra 3-second buffer to play with, because Engine has just picked up his second time penalty of the race, and Engine has lost it! We saw him lock up the rears before on that corner, back when he was on old tires, but now, on fresh tires, straight out of the pits, on his outlap, he loses the rear of the car. Quite a fast recovery there from our champion in waiting. But that's gonna cost him, that could have given him somewhere as well for good measure. And that has put him behind Chichi again. Of course, Chichi is on ancient tires. I don't think he's gonna be able to put up much over the fence. I think Engine could spin twice in addition to the spins that he just had, and he would still have greater tires than Chichi at this stage. Engine's gonna set this up out of 10-4. There should be no contest from Chichi, although Chichi is fighting it. He has now tied off his battery. I think he's not gonna give up the position unless he's gonna look to dive down the inside at 10-2. 10-3 rather. Another lockup from Engine. You can see the trail of smoke coming out of his left side wheels. And now Tommy is gonna be starting lap 31 of 36, so 6 laps remain, and Engine needs to gain 7.5 seconds to win this race. It's not looking good for him right now. That penalty took a dent, made a dent rather, in his hopes of winning this race, but just a moment later he just locked the rears and spun his car around, and I think that's gonna be the moment that's gonna lose him this race for good. Nevertheless, he's not giving up, because champions don't do that thing. We are now on board with him, as we have been for quite some time, and he is pushing hard. He needs to bridge a 7-second gap, or rather he needs to gain 7 seconds in total over Tom Eat, and also in addition to overtaking him over the course of the next 5 laps and a sector. If anyone can do it, it's Engine. Not really much to report on otherwise. If Nimra can keep it on track for 5 more laps, he's gonna pick up his best finish of the season. And Chichi is on course for his best finish of the season as well. As I mentioned somewhere around the start of the stream, his best finish is P6, has been P6 in Australia, and he's now looking for a podium. Granted, he is on 15 lap old mediums. And Tonko Prop and Engine both opted to take those mediums off when they reached that age, or even before they reached that age, so I think it's gonna be squeaky bum time for Chichi, who might be approaching puncture territory, or even be within it already. Engine has made up another 3/10 on round 8, but this is less than the rate that he needs to be gaining at if he wants to win this race. And I know from experience, from myself having league raced and having league raced for 4.5 years and having been following racing in general for almost 9 now, I know that what Engine is really focusing on is whether he can get this win. He's already got the championship in the bag, there's no reason to think about the championship. He's just gonna be looking ahead and trying to get this win, unlikely as it may seem at this stage. 3 laps remain after this one. True 10-4 Engine is pushing, he's losing the car just a little bit. You can see that Tom Easy is pushing himself. Both of these guys have left less than 15% of battery right now. So they are both pushing. Engine has closed the gap to 3 seconds, but he will need to be gaining 2 seconds every lap from here on out if he wants to win this race. We also got a battle for the podium. Actually, one person who I didn't mention when I said who's gonna be getting their best finishes of the season. Ian might be getting a podium. Ian might be getting a podium in FLR. Our, of course, owner and well, the primary owner now, and our founder. It's been a while since Ian has been on the podium here in FLR. Actually, it has been so much of a while that I can actually remember, and my memory is usually good. I'm trying to remember when Ian was last on the podium in FLR. I'm just gonna have a quick check because I don't remember. Like, I remember Ian being on the podium at Canada Season 2. But that was, what, 3 years ago now? Surely he had another podium after that as well. We are now on the penultimate lap, by the way. You are seeing the battle for the final podium place. Of course, Ian technically has it already, but he will be looking to get this one done on track. Well, all the information I have at my disposal is leading me to believe that Ian has indeed not been on the podium since Season 2, Canada, in FLR. He's been close, he's been getting P4s and P5s a few times, but he's not been on the podium since Season 2, I think. Out of the front, I don't think Engine is gonna do it at this point. We are now looking backwards from Chichi's onboard. You can see how grainy those rear tires are. I think they can pop at any moment now, especially the right rear. You can see how worn out that tire is. And Ian's gonna fly past. Chichi gave it everything, but I think this is gonna be the final time. The final position change between these two guys, because those tires are going to be giving up at this stage. I mean, Chichi is going to have to start looking backwards to Panda, because Panda might sneak in and take the P4s. Ian is sliding with the car just for fun, seemingly, and Chichi is going to try to look down the inside. I mean, it's the last lap of the season. You might as well show the kitchen sink at it. for a lack of a better idea. But I don't think there's gonna be a door opening for Chich to get back through. And he's almost losing the car, and he's teetering on the edge of the 3-second time, but actually he's not anymore. Panda has got that before in safekeeping, I think, but we're gonna look to our race leader. I said at the start that Tommy is gonna be looking for his third victory of the season, the second most of anyone. He decided to do the last two first challenge, but it has not hampered him at all. Ian picks up a 3-second time, but it does not gonna matter. Tommy wins the Austrian Grand Prix, but Engine is gonna come across the line, and Engine is gonna be a 2-time FLR champion, season 6, and now season 9 goes into his trophy locker. Ian comes out the last corner. Ian is gonna take his first FLR podium in 3 years, and Kick Sauber are gonna take home the Constructors Trophy as well. Panda is gonna come home in P4, Positer Chichi comes home in P5, Tongo Pro was run out of fuel or is goofing off. He's gonna come across the line in P6, and he's gonna take home P2 in the driver standings. Nimra is gonna finish our season off with his best result of the season. So at least I hope everyone who finished that was happy. Obviously the people who didn't weren't, but quite a few interesting stats at the end. Tommy it's taking 3 out of the 5 accolades from the game, and he goes from last to first to win at Austria. And then our champion, he's taken a page out of my playbook by winning the championship with only 1 race win. So quite a bit less dominant than his first championship, but he's a 2-time champion of FLR nevertheless, joining Tom Koprov and myself in that category. Ian, of course, his first podium in a while. I'm not quite sure if it was 3 years exactly, but he's been off the podium for a while. So the Kick Sauber celebrate their Constructors Championship with a double podium. Got Panda, Chichi, those guys picking up their best finishes of the season. Nimra, P7, also best finish of the season. Tongo Prof, just not a characteristic race for him, but I think his head just wasn't in it. I just don't think he likes this Austria reverse. And that's it for it. I hope you enjoyed that as much as you could have. Obviously, it wasn't the best of races. We saw half the grid retire. It's almost like it was 90s F1 again. But we got through the race, we got through the season, and we are getting underway again in 2 weeks for the so-called Team Showdown. And as I said, Delano, or how his name is actually pronounced, is going to be taking over comms from me, and I'm going to be back on the track. Also, while I'm still here, I'm just going to take a quick moment on the stream to thank Cor, at this point, still our co-owner, for his work with the league over the past 4 years, almost 4 years, because Cor is going to be stepping down from his duties at the end of today. So he's going to be stepping down in 2 hours, and it's going to be a bit of a new era, so to speak, as we head into next season. So thanks, Cor, for everything that you've done, and we'll all see each other around, I suppose. I wish everyone a good evening. I wish everyone a good 2 weeks, in fact, because it's going to be a season break. And to the people who didn't turn up, I hope that whatever the football match is, that is going well. Bye.